welcome back all. So another tree, this is a Thryptomine Saxicola. I believe this is like, it grows in like the alpine parts of Australia. I think it's an Australian native. I'm actually quite surprised really, because when I bought this, I'll put a video up of that now. I kind of didn't know, I bought it in the summer and I didn't really know if it's actually like a hardy plant or, you know, I mean it is from Australia, right? So you can imagine some of the temperatures there, but obviously a bit stupid of me. There are obviously cold parts of Australia as well, and Australia snows and, you know. But yeah, I'm actually very surprised with how well this has grown. It's looking a bit bushy, so we're here to clean it up. I think it's still pushing growth, you know. Still. I mean, we haven't really hit minuses yet, but to see it still pushing growth is mad. So this lower portion here, I left all this on to try and thicken the trunk. I don't know if it's worked. I don't think that's kind of how this tree grows really. It doesn't look like it thickens that well at all, because you'd think any other tree this kind of growth would be a lot thicker. But essentially, yeah, I'm just going to get rid of all this, try and make some cuttings. And then we're going to be using the top, so it should be more like it's like a tall acacia kind of thing. That's kind of the style I'm going for. I'm going to have to start wiring these, because I haven't actually wired any of these yet. It's just been clip and grow, but yeah, they're just a bit out of whack, I suppose. So here we go. Now this one might seem a bit weird, but I'm trying a cinematic mode on the iPhone. That's what I'm recording on. I haven't actually got a proper camera, so I'm trying cinematic. See if it makes me better. You have to ignore the noise of the chair. I need a new chair. Squeaky and annoying. Okay. Favourite snippers. Here we go. So honestly, this bottom bit, I'm just cutting it. I don't really care where I'm cutting, as long as it all comes off. That's the main part. So yeah, this tree, oh look at this branch. Yeah, this tree has surprised me very much with how much it's grown. I cut it back a lot, and I was worried that it wasn't going to survive. Now, in the time that it's been in this pot, I don't know, I know I've got hedgehogs around here. There's one that keeps on coming around called Hedgie, I call him. But yeah, the pot is absolutely smashed apart, so I don't know if he's been crawling in between them. That's another part of the video for today as well. We're going to be just up-potting it. Obviously it's winter, not going to touch any roots. There's another thing with this tree. As you can see, the roots are all coming out the bottom anyway. These are all, yeah. This is the thing, this tree puts on a lot of roots and a lot of growth, but doesn't really gain a thicker trunk. I mean, you might say that's pretty good for Marmee, Shohin kind of size trees. Let me just tidy these cuts up. I need a new pair of concave cutters. These aren't really the greatest for this kind of stuff, but unfortunately my concave cutters had an issue and I bent them trying to cut things that are too big. What's that? And then these kind of knob cutters or branch cutters are very dull, so I think I'll treat myself to some new tools in January time. Okay, another thing with this tree is kind of cool, the bark. It kind of reminds me of a rosemary, that kind of style bark. Okay, that is the bottom bit all cut off. As you can probably tell, there's a little bit of movement to the bottom of the trunk. I haven't actually dug down to the root base yet. See what that's actually like. You might even have an inverse taper for all I know. But as you can see, this section here is extremely straight. So I think today We'll try and add some wire to that. Now this is very brittle wood, I can feel it. But I'm just going to try and get a slight little bend in that, just a tiny bit. Might help out a little bit. But before we do that, so as I say, this is kind of based on an acacia kind of style, or a flat top, I suppose you could probably call it. That's the idea I'm going for. So all these little straggly branches that have grown in, don't even need 2 of them. Right, got my first branch to start up here. Now I think this is my front. Not too sure, not too happy about that branch that comes out directly in your face there. Was there any other angle that I looked at? Maybe it's this one. Okay, I think this was the front. Okay, let's go from here. This branch is going to come down a little bit. I'm going to be cutting back as well, trying to improve that ramification a little bit. I think what I'll do is first, I think I'm going to profile cut it first, and then going with the wire from there. Let's just start doing that. So I say profile cutting, what I really mean is cutting out anything that I'm not going to want or need. So if you can see this branch here, there's one growing not too far up. There's a nice bifurcation there, that goes into 2, that's fine. This one comes out, bifurcates, but then, so this is what this tree does a lot, is kind of, how can I put it, you kind of get opposing branches, let's put it that way. So there's branches there, kind of stacked on top of each other, and you always get 3 as well, which is kind of strange, but yeah. So I've got an option here, so obviously I can cut back to here, leaving them 2. That's pretty short for this branch. I want this branch to kind of grow out a bit more, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go with, so I've got one there, cut that one off there, cut that on the inside, this one on top can come off, and I'm actually going to finish it with that branch out to the side there. And then essentially we're just going to go through the whole tree doing this. Now I'm probably going to fast forward this bit because this probably will take a while. So just to bring you back for a moment here. Obviously what you can see is, I hope, that I've cut these branches back before. These were kind of really strong branches, and then this is the growth it's kind of pushed down. And that's how we get taper into branches. You know, obviously the shape of these is quite strange, but that is essentially what you're after there. So it goes from thickest to slightly thinner again, and again. I know obviously some of you bonsai people will understand that anyway, but I try and treat every video like someone's first time watching this kind of stuff, and they don't understand quite what's going on. Now also what I'm doing is getting rid of some of this interior growth. You know, in an older tree you wouldn't really get this juvenile kind of growth which starts from the centre of the tree. Obviously every now and then you might have a smaller branch, but again it goes back to the whole, you know, cutting off things that have grown down too much, growing up too much, growing into the tree. Unless it's like a branch that I want to plan for, I actually want to grow out, I'm going to be getting rid of it. Here's on the inside. Kind of brings it age as well. So it's also important with any kind of trees that you're growing on, essentially trees that you want to make into, well, bigger trees, you know, that you think about your lowest branches. So your lowest branches should technically be the longest, right? You're going for this kind of conical kind of shape in a tree. That's what a mature tree kind of shape is. Obviously there are, you know, there are some trees that don't look like that, but in general, that's the general idea. So with that in mind, obviously you're trying to make this kind of conical shape, which means that your lower branches have to be wider or longer than the top. Not only that, but thicker as well. They should be thicker because they're the oldest branches on the tree, right? Obviously a way to get around that in bonsai, because these don't grow like that. Obviously if I let this grow, you see what it looks like. So the way to get around that is to keep these growing strong for a good couple of years, and always pruning back the top, because the top on most trees is going to be the most dominant, and that's where they're going to want to push, right? Every tree wants to be as big as it can. That's the best way for its survival. And in bonsai, we're kind of, well, trying to miniaturise trees. Sorry, there's some bits down the bottom here I'm not happy with. Might have to come back in with a razor blade on those. And some cut paste. Yes, that's the general idea, is that you let the lower branches grow longer so they can grow thicker, and then you keep on cutting back the tops until you get into that kind of scowl that you're after. And will it make a good bonsai? I don't know. I have no idea. All I know is that the leaf size is absolutely tiny, and that's a good thing for making bonsai, especially like chosen size trees. You know. If it was a bigger tree, I could get away with bigger leaves, but I realize how close I'm getting to the camera here. It is so that I can get them looking as well. These do back bud very well as well. I tested that last time. Most of these branches I literally cut back without even seeing a bud. So I know they do pretty well in that aspect. I'm actually going to have to stand up here because it's too high in for me. I appreciate it might look like I'm just hacking this, but I'm really not. I'm thinking about what I'm cutting. Okay. I think we are possibly... Oh no, it's that one. I think we are ready for some wire. Sneak peek at the damage control. Yeah, there's a lot of cuttings, I'd imagine. I know the last couple of videos I posted have been quite long form. The reason for that, I think, I kind of want to show you guys what I do start to finish, really. That's the idea of it. How I go about things, and you know, the many steps it takes as well, because this isn't just you know, if this is just a clean up prune and maybe shorter, but it isn't just that. This is a complete kind of doing the naughty thing again. Putting more into the pot. Ryan Neal would be very upset. Don't blame him either. Okay. Quick tip, if you are going to put it in, try and cut the sharp edge on it rather than just putting it in flat. This way you can actually get through the roots. Oh my god, there must be some roots in there, because that is hard. Okay. When you're wiring with really thick wire, especially, I mean most wire anyway, you want to make sure you're supporting it with your other hand. So this hand is obviously creating the bend, and this hand is kind of supporting the trunk and the wire that already exists. Just keeping it where it is rather than letting it bend. And obviously you don't really want any gaps. You may have some gaps just because of the shape of the tree, but the less gaps the better. I think I can just finish that around there. Now this is probably why they're blunt. Don't know where that went. That's exactly why they're blunt. So this is the front of my tree, obviously. There's a little kink at the bottom here, just a minor kink. I kind of like that. Maybe the front moves around a little bit more. Might have to lose this branch here. We will see. I kind of like this structure here. You know, this branch kind of comes off, and this can be its own side thing. This going back. This is a little bit towards you, but not too much. Structure's nice there, so you know, worst case this branch. Yeah, it comes off. That comes off now. I've just looked at that in the camera as I'm holding it. Looks way better. Okay. Right, so the bend. As I said, this is a brittle tree. I don't want to risk snapping it. So it's going to be very calculated. Slow moves. If you hear a snap, you'll know I'm very upset. Luckily, I've restarted the gym though, so. Okay. At least it's not exactly straight. I can get a bit more bend into that. Just a little bit. That's brilliant. Okay, so when I come to pot this up, then it's kind of leaning out. Yeah, I don't mind that. It's at least for this bottom bit. What I would like to do is kind of bend this bit back. It kind of has a. It's too much all in one go. Oh, there we go. Nice. Okay, very, very minimal movement. Probably gonna have to wire that again over time and bend it some more. But it's on there for now, so that's good. Right, okay, that's the first bit. That's the most worrying bit for me as well. So obviously these branches are very, very thin. I'm pretty sure it's not going to take a lot. I don't really want to move these big structural pieces. They've kind of got a nice movement to them anyway. It's more just trying to get these ends down and out a little bit. So we're going to just go in with a little wire here. Of course, always using the 2-branch method. Now the bit that I hate about a little wire the most is when you have to come to take it off. Absolute nightmare. Just trying to remember where you put it and see it. That's the hardest bit for me usually. Maybe I need some glasses, who knows. And even with a little wire, you just want to carry it all the way out on the longest branch. Again, supporting it. Although it's only a little wire, it's also a little branch. And usually want to come up at the end just to hold that tip. And you put some funny shapes into it. And you can twist these, you can spin them, you can do whatever you want with them really. I like quite a minimal movement most of the time. I don't think every tree needs to be exaggerated in every way. Okay, I'll probably fast forward the rest of this bit because it's going to take me a while. Now, an important part about wiring, it depends what kind of area you're going for with the tree. In the case of, I want this to be an acacia type tree, right? And although these branches at the minute look like they're heading down, obviously these are going to grow a little bit longer and then they're going to head up. So an acacia kind of has like an umbrella shape, like it kind of goes round rather than just being flat, right? If this is like a picea or a pine, I want to be dropping these branches all the way down because that's obviously in nature. The branches kind of drop from being in an alpine space. Whereas obviously this is supposed to imitate a tree from Africa. And with that, they don't get snow loads, so they wouldn't get any weight on them, essentially. You might get like a windswept, sorry. I forgot I was going to say that for a minute. Yeah, like a windswept kind of vibe. But you generally wouldn't get, weighted down branches, so always think of where your tree is and what you're trying to depict. Okay, then just a bit more wire to go on this one. It should be done. I'm not going to wire the whole apex because there's no need to really. A lot of that stuff will still be getting cut back next spring, I suppose. Now when you get near to the apex, you are really looking for more density. Knowing how this tree pushed, I don't think that's going to be an issue here, so I'm going to just cut things back that I don't really want right now. I think this will probably be the new leader. This one up here. These are all kind of contending. Don't know if I mind that or if I like it. Now I'm short on the tree, I can fit all in it. Again, I'm not really sure what the front is quite now. I quite like this, but there's no shape in it. Let's try and bend this one more time. Feeling brave. That was the pot, not the tree. Surprisingly flexible, considering. Yeah, I mean, I'm just not getting any bends into that, am I really? I think it might just have to end up being one of them trees. It just doesn't really have much movement in it at all. Or I'll get frustrated and I'll just snap it. It's a total possibility. Okay. Oh wow, okay. Now we've got movement. Okay, this will probably be the new angle that it gets potted at then. I quite like that. That's quite... It's just one movement in it really, but you know, at a later stage maybe I can try and bend this top bit that way a little bit more. Maybe something like that. So yeah, it's my Thryptomine for now. Last part. I actually forgot about putting it into a bigger pot. This is the pot in question. It has actually got a crack in it as well. She isn't too happy, but it's a little bit more together. At the bottom of that, I've just got some old Akadama. This tree was actually growing in this, so it was just sat on top to get them roots to grow a little bit more. So what I'll do now is I'll take this out of here. Look at that root mass. Whew. Really fine roots. Jesus Christ. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to pop this in here in the angle that I want it at, and then fill the surrounding with more soil. pretty good. Okay, so one last final look at the tree. If you enjoyed today's content, please make sure to subscribe, like, and hit that bell notification. I'll see you soon.